Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. February 7, 2021, the Courage and Corruption issue. And we begin with stories on courage. First up, the York Patrol, the real story of Alvin York and the unsung hero who made him World War I's most famous soldier. On October 8, 1918, 13 men performed historic deeds that would earn them medals of honor. One of this group and one man emerged as the single greatest American hero of the Great War, Alvin York. A poor farmer from Tennessee, York is said to have single-handedly killed 24 Germans and captured another 132 of them of the enemy, plus 35 machine guns before noon on that day. York would become an American legend, celebrated in magazines, books, and a blockbuster epic film starring Gary Cooper. The film told the story of a hellraiser from the backwoods of Tennessee who had a come-to-Jesus moment, then wrestled with his newfound Christianity and convictions to become the greatest heroes the U.S. Army had never known. But it's not the whole story. In this absorbing biography, the author gives a complete story of York and the events that occurred on the Argonne Forest that day. The descriptions of the fight scenes are just unbelievable. So it's a great way to start with our courage. Next up, The Princess Spy by Larry Loftis. It's a true story of a World War II spy, Eileen Griffin, Countess of the Romanines. While Eileen Griffin was born in a quiet New York suburb, no one had any idea she would go on to live a life of glamour and danger that Ingrid Bergman only played at in Notorious. As the U.S. entered World War II, the young college graduate was desperate to aid in the war effort, but no one was interested in a bright-eyed woman whose only career experience was modeling. Eileen's life changed at a dinner party when she met Frank Ryan and revealed how desperately she wanted to do her part for her country. Within a few weeks, she joined the Office of Strategic Services. With a code name and expert training under her belt, she was sent to Spain to be a coder, but soon was given the additional assignment of infiltrating the upper echelons of society, mingling with high-ranking officers and diplomats and titled Europeans, anyone who could be an enemy agent. Against this glamorous backdrop, she recruited sub-agents and engaged in deep-cover espionage to counter Nazi tactics in Madrid. Even after marrying the Count, one of the wealthiest men in Spain, she secretly continued her covert activities, being given special assignments abroad that her impeccable decree would help her with. Next up, and one of the most interesting book reviews I've read in some time, John C. Calhoun, American Heretic. Most people remember Calhoun as a rabid segregationist, racist, and leader of the nullification wing and the nullification crisis. Yet he's one of the most enigmatic and notorious figures in American history. First elected to Congress in 1810 as a war hawk, he went on to serve as Secretary of State and Vice President under two presidents. As I said, he's most perhaps known for his arguing in favor of slavery and nullification. Yet Calhoun is catapulted back to the public eye in recent years, as some observers have connected the strain of his radical politics he developed to the tactics and extremism of the far right, as protests over racial injustice have focused on his legacy. In this revelatory biography, historian Robert Elder shows that Calhoun is an even more significant figure than these events suggest, and his story is crucial for understanding the political climate in which we find ourselves. By excising Calhoun from the mainstream of American histories, we have been left with a distorted understanding of our past and how to explain our present. And our final book is the corruption book. It's We Own This City, a true story of crime, cops, and corruption. It's the story of the Baltimore Police Department's gun task force, which all went wrong. It destroyed the relationship between the Baltimore Police Department and citizens, was one of the most corrupt units in the history of certainly Baltimore policing. This book tells the sordid tale. I hope you'll enjoy one or all of these books. This is Tom Fox. This month on The Compliance Life, I visit with Natalia Shaheda, the Chief Compliance Officer at ABB. It's a fascinating story of Natalia's journey to the compliance chair and what lessons she's learned. Also, I hope you will check out ComTech, a podcast on the intersection of technology and compliance that I premiered in February with Valerie Charles. Both of these shows are on the Compliance Podcast Network. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening to the Sunday Book Review.